The hospital room smelled of wilted flowers. Gray evening light bled through the blinds, painting stripes across the bed where Jacob Whitmore lay dying. His breathing was shallow, each inhale a labor. The medicine kept the worst of the pain at bay, but nothing could dull the other ache, the one that had lived in his chest for decades, heavy as a stone. His daughter, Emily, sat behind him, her fingers laced through his. She had been reading to him, some novel he couldn't focus on, but now the book lay closed in her lap. She was crying silently, the way people do when they've already accepted the inevitable. Jacob wanted to comfort her, to say something profound, something that would make his life feel like it had mattered. But the words just wouldn't come. Because the truth was, he had spent his whole life waiting for a moment that never arrived. And now, as the darkness crept in at the edges of his vision, he finally saw why. Age 8, the school play. Jacob had practiced his lines for weeks, whispering them to himself in the mirror. He was supposed to be the brave knight, the hero of the story, but when the curtain rose, his throat closed. The other kids nudged him forward, but his feet stayed rooted to the stage. The teacher had to read his lines for him. Afterward, his mother hugged him. "It's okay, sweetheart. You'll do better next time." There was no next time. Age 27. Clara had laughed at his jokes in the cafe where they both worked, her eyes bright with something that might have been promise. One night, after closing, she leaned against the counter and said, "You're different, Jacob. You see things other people don't." He had kissed her that night. Almost. He had leaned in, close enough to feel her breath, close enough to change everything. Then, he had pulled back. "I'm sorry," he mumbled. I'm not the guy you think I am." She stopped smiling. A week later, she quit. Age 45. The notebook in his desk drawer was full of half-finished stories, fragments of novels he told himself he'd finish someday. His wife, before she left, used to say, "You have a way with words, Jake. You should use it." But the blank pages stayed blank. One evening, after too much whiskey, he threw the notebook in the trash. Who was I kidding, he thought. I'm not a writer. Now, in the hospital, the past didn't come to him in flashes. It unfolded, like a map of roads he had never taken. He saw himself on that stage, voice ringing clear. He saw Clara's face if he had kissed her. He saw the book he might have published, his name on the cover. Most of all, he saw the man he could have been. Not a hero, not a genius, just someone who tried. Someone who believed in himself for once. A sob clawed its way up his throat. Emily squeezed his hand. "Dad?" But Jacob wasn't there anymore. He was lost in the life he didn't live. The heart monitor screamed a single, endless note. Emily wept. The nurses came. And Jacob Whitmore, the man who almost was, stepped into the light, only to realize, too late, that he had always been enough. He just hadn't stayed long enough to see it. all of us have a little bit of Jacob Whitmore inside ourselves. Regret is heavier than failure. Most of us fear things that we think are inevitable, that will always be there. But regret can be changed. It's only up to you to say when.